So this is a rather long-awaited video. This is the Godox / PixaPro / whatever rebranding you have of it, 1200 watt battery light, which may well be the best value for money light out there for professional photographers. Not for beginners. This is not a beginner setup. This is a £1,500 light. It is not cheap. But then if we look at the comparative 1200 watt lighting systems from Broncolor at about 6 grand and Elinchrom at nearly 3 grand, it's pretty cheap. Now, this is, I think, if you had to have just one light, the light you should go for, because yes, it's battery powered, but you can always buy more batteries and run it indoors all day long anyway. And then you have a both battery and outdoor sort of system going on. I don't believe you can mains power it yet. I may be wrong, correct me in the comments if I am. The Elinchrom option, that has like a base plate you can buy, which you sit it on and that will let you run it as a studio light. But this is a great light. And I've been using it a lot, and I've also used it on a commercial job, which is something I wouldn't normally do. I normally just stick to my Broncolor lights, but I thought we'll give it a go. Now, the reason this is such a great light is one, its portability. It is battery powered, the batteries are good. You get 500 frames, although I've not got past 450, but I'm also not sure whether the one I got sent was a new one or whether it's been around the houses and been absolutely hammered by every YouTuber. Also not sure if they want it back or not, so I'm just going to hang on to it until someone says something, because it is genuinely a good light. It's battery powered, so that's great. You can take it on location, take it to your restaurant, take it to your wedding, whatever it is. It is lightweight for what it is. I think it's lighter than the Elinchrom, it fills it. We took the Elinchrom to Paris. I think we took 3 of them with us on a shoot, and they were pretty heavy for my poor assistant, not for me. I didn't have to hold them, but they weren't ideal. So it's pretty lightweight. It is a pack and a head system, so all the actual important stuff is in the pack where the battery lives below, which is very similar to the way that I light in the studio, apart from their mains powered packs on the ground and then heads in the air. And it just means you can get them onto a C-stand without worrying about it toppling over for such a high power. Now, the reason this is a great one light does it all system, it has 1200 watts, which is pretty much enough for most things. Sometimes I do need my 3200 watt light, but I'd say that's getting rare. It's only from using like optical snoots or particular modifiers where they just eat light. So 1200 watts is a good solid amount of light for a pro photographer. It also has stroboscopic modes, which is the sort of cool flashy light thing where you can get the dance. Everyone does it with a dancer. They have a ballet dancer doing a little dance on a black background. There must be something cool we can do with that, which isn't that. I'll try and think of something and create something. Maybe that can be my challenge for this month. So it has that as well. It has high-speed sync. It has insane flash accuracy. And when I say that, I mean like the power output. So much so that I shot a stop motion time lapse with it, and every single frame fired absolutely perfectly, and you can see it playing now. It's just very accurate. We used a lens which had a manual aperture, so there was no flicker from the aperture blade, so any flicker you do see is the light, but I'd say it's very good. It also has a color consistency button, and if you use that, you sort of lose some flash duration speed, but it gives you a much tighter color accuracy. So most of the time when a flash fires, you'll probably get plus or minus between 200 and 1000 Kelvin, depending on how cheap it is. One of the reasons the premium lights like the Scoros from Broncolor are so expensive and like 12 grand is because they don't have a standard deviation. They just have perfect light, perfect white balance. But with that comes a price tag. Now this brings it down to about 20 to 50 Kelvin from what I noticed either side. And that to me is a very good place for most professional photographers. I'd absolutely use them for a billboard campaign, so perfectly fine. Now, the great thing for me about this is, as well as it being a great powerful flash and also being portable, it has super short flash durations. Like 12,000th of a second, it will freeze water to a crisp and still put out a reasonable amount of light. And that to me is very useful as a food photographer. If you do dance or motion or sport or anything as well, very, very useful. Now the light itself, it takes on the Bowens S mount, so unless you've been using Broncolor, ProPhoto or Elinchrom, all your modifiers will fit with this. It comes with its own reflector, which is okay. I've been using it for shoots and it's done fine. It's perhaps not the perfect modifier, but it is pretty good. And you can always adapt it to take on Broncolor modifiers if you need to. The package itself comes with a nice flight case, which is a bit like the Think Tank roller cases, but not quite as premium, but then the Think Tank roller cases are premiumly priced. And it's always important to remember this. Just because something isn't as good as something else, it doesn't mean it's null and void. I use a particularly cheap Mac M1 computer because I don't need a huge Mac Pro for £20,000. And yes, it's not as good, but it does what I need. And I think for most professionals, these lights will do what you need until you need that 100% accuracy from a broncolor system or whatever it may be, or the 6400 watts or 3200 watt lights, or the solid modifiers, that sort of thing. For most people, this here is perhaps the best value for money light to be getting into professional photography with. Anyway, let me know your views below. I'll try and get some images floating up at the end of this showing you where I've used it. And you can sort of make your own mind up, I guess. There we go. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.